NBA fans, we are ramping up our NBA coverage here on Chat Sports. So we want to hear from you guys and know who your favorite team is. Who do you miss watching the most? And who are you the most excited to watch? Once again, let us know down in the comment section below. And now let's get into today's video. Today, we're starting off with some news about Bojan Bogdanovic, one of the league's best shooters. The latest news out of Utah is that he's undergoing season-ending wrist surgery. Now, he did hurt his wrist in the early part of 2019, but he decided, hey, I'm going to play through it. I'm going to go ahead and play through the pain. But at this point now, he's in quarantine. He's realizing the pain is just a little bit too much to deal with. So he's going to get that wrist operated on to shut him down for whenever this season comes back. He will not return. However, he is expected to make a full recovery for the 2020-2021 NBA season. Now, Bogdanovic has been one of the league's best shooters and really one of the best scorers for the Utah Jazz this year. He signed that contract with Utah last summer, a big contract, and then he put up big numbers to support that. He's been averaging 20 points per game and 4 rebounds, along with 41.4% from three. And the reason that number from three is so impressive is that there are only 2 players in the entire NBA that are putting up at least 20 points per game, shooting at least 40% from the three-point line, and shooting at least 90% from the free throw line. Those 2 guys are Bojan Bogdanovic and Chris Middleton of the Milwaukee Bucks. Of course, Middleton is an all-star. Bogdanovic didn't get that all-star nod, but Middleton's been looking really good for Milwaukee, putting up 21 points, 6 boards, 4 assists, 41% from three, and 90.8% from the free throw line. A little bit better numbers than Bogdanovic, but not a lot. So Utah is really going to miss Bojan. But luckily for them, they do have a guy waiting in the wings, a guy waiting to come off the bench and be a 6-man. A guy who's been a 6-man all year long will get put back into the starting lineup. It's Joe Ingles. And now this Utah Jazz lineup is going to look a little different, but pretty similar to what they had last year. They'll have Mike Conley and Donovan Mitchell, of course, in the backcourt. Hopefully, by the time the playoffs roll around, Mike Conley will have figured something out. He hasn't been having a great year. Royce O'Neal has turned into one of the best defensive players in the league, perimeter-wise. He can guard 3s, 4s, and even some 2s as well. And then you've got Joe Ingles and Rudy Gobert as your 2. Really, you can call Joe Ingles a power forward here, but he's just a small forward in a power forward in a small forward's body. And then Rudy Gobert, of course, protecting the paint in the middle. Now, if the NBA does return, which it's looking that way, we're slowly creeping back, we'll get a first-round matchup of Oklahoma City versus the Utah Jazz, a playoff matchup that I'm really looking forward to. But who would you pick in that first-round matchup? Let me know in the comment section below by typing OKC for the Thunder or UTA for the Utah Jazz. I'm going to go with the Jazz here. I think their experience will win out. And even though they don't have Bogdanovic, I like Joe Ingles a lot, and he is a great defender. Now, before I get into my next topic, NBA fans, I got to tell you to go check out our friends over at Fanatics. When you go to chatsports.com/NBA hat, you can get up to 50% off all NBA hats. Whatever your favorite team is, go pick it out over on Fanatics. When you use that link, chatsports.com/NBA hat. Hey, here's a hint for you. You know, women, they've got makeup. Guys, we get hats to kind of make us look a little bit prettier. So go save some money, get your face looking a little prettier with a nice hat from Fanatics. Now, NBA fans, we all know that Bleacher Report has been trying for a long time to get Rudy Gobert to Dallas. So now they've got another trade idea cooked up, ready for us to talk about. And here it is right here. The Mavs, this would obviously be an offseason trade because the trade deadline is well over now. But the Mavs get Rudy Gobert, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. Utah, in return, in Bleacher Report's trade idea. Again, this is not me. This is all Bleacher Report here. They send Seth Curry, Maxi Kleber, Boban Marjanovic, Justin Jackson, and I'm not done, and our 2020 first-round pick to Utah, all for just one guy. Of course, that first-round pick is expected to be the 18th pick if the season were to end today. Obviously, some things can still shake up. And now, look, I like Gobert a lot. He is a great player. And on paper, this new starting 5 looks really good. You get Luka Doncic, Tim Hardaway Jr. as your backcourt. Same old, 2 guys that can score the basketball. Dorian Finney-Smith, Kristaps Porzingis, and Rudy Gobert. That's your new front line. And nobody is going to score on that front line when you have Dorian Finney-Smith's perimeter defense. You get Kristaps Porzingis and Rudy Gobert protecting the rim. Nobody's going to score. It's great. But you're trading away a third of your team for just one guy in this trade idea. And I don't understand it because Rudy Gobert is going to be a free agent in 2021. So why trade away Maxi Kleber, Seth Curry, Boban, and Justin Jackson, and a first-round pick for just one guy you can get a year later for nothing but some cap space. Maxi Kleber, of course, is one of our favorite players on the Mavs. Everyone loves watching him. He gives 110% every time down the floor. Seth Curry has become one of the best 6 men. I think he's going to be a great bargain for a long time for the next couple of years. Boban, obviously not getting as many minutes, but we all saw him in that Denver game right before this pandemic hit, and he went off. And then Justin Jackson, he's had a down year, but he's still a young piece that the Mavs can potentially continue to develop. So I'm saying no if I'm the Dallas Mavericks in this trade idea, because you're sending way too much for just one guy. But who do you think says no to this trade? Type J for Jazz, type M for Mavs. You're going to see an M from me down in the comment section below, because Seth Curry and Maxi Kleber, 2 great bargains. I still like Boban a lot. I like that first round pick. I think there's going to be some high quality talent around the 18th pick for the Mavs, and trading him for a guy that, again, the Mavs are probably going to chase in free agency the next summer just does not make a lot of sense to me. I am completely out on this trade if I'm the Dallas Mavericks. But you know what I'm in on? A new Dallas Mavericks YouTube channel here on Chat Sports. When you go to youtube.com/allthingsMavs, you're going to get all Mavs content all the time from the great people here at Chat Sports, including me. You're going to get all my Mavs coverage 24/7. So go hit that subscribe button. We're nearing 2,000 subscribers already, and we just started it up. So go hit subscribe so you don't miss a thing here on Chat Sports. Now let's talk about Spencer Dinwiddie of the Brooklyn Nets. He's going to be a free agent after the 2020-2021 NBA season, but he's come up with a new plan for free agency. He wants to raise $24.6 million from the fans. That's right. The NBA player who's getting all the money from NBA teams wants the fans to pay him so they can pick where he signs in free agency. Now, I will say this. He did say if he doesn't raise that much money, which hint, hint, doesn't look like he's going to do it. But if he doesn't raise that much money, all the money he does raise will go to a charity. That's great. But if he does get $24.6 million, he's going to let whatever fan base raises the most money choose where he can sign a 1-year deal after the 2021 NBA season. Now, I like Spencer Dinwiddie a lot. And when Kyrie Irving has been hurt for the Brooklyn Nets, he has been a great backup. 20.6 points per game, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, and nearly 31% from 3. Not a great 3-point shooter, but a great playmaker and a great scorer off the bench. But that's just what he is. He's a guy who comes off the bench. He's a guy who subs in for your starting point guard. You don't want him as your main piece on an NBA team. And look, I get it if Spencer Dinwiddie was one of the best free agents in that class, but that class is already stacked. You've got Giannis Antetokounmpo will be an unrestricted free agent. LeBron James has got a player option. Now, he could opt into that. He might not be a free agent, but same with Kawhi Leonard, another player option guy. Anthony Davis will hit the open market no matter what. And Paul George will have a player option as well. So I just have a really strong feeling that NBA fans aren't that worried about what Spencer Dinwiddie is going to do. Definitely not worried enough to give the guy $24.6 million over the internet. I'll tell you right now, he's not going to see a penny from me in that donation. And I hope none of you guys are donating, because I don't care enough to give money to Spencer Dinwiddie to choose where he signs. But I will say I wouldn't mind if he was a Dallas Maverick one day. But which fan base will raise the most for Spencer Dinwiddie? Let me know in the comment section below. Look, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think it's going to be the New York Knicks. I think their fans are going to say, I don't know if we're going to get anybody in free agency, so why don't we make the call? We'll give the money to Dinwiddie and let him choose to sign in New York. Now, let's keep it moving here. The NBA draft lottery has been postponed. So has the combine. But we do know one thing about the draft lottery is that they are not changing their formula. They did the same thing last year where the bottom 3 teams have the same percentage chance at that number 1 pick. And I like that format a lot. I think it gives a lot more fairness, and it kind of really takes away from tanking just a little bit, although there's still a lot of tanking going around the NBA. And it really makes some sense when you look at the bottom 5 teams in this draft lottery, because you got the Golden State Warriors, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Minnesota Timberwolves, all with 14% chance. That's that number you see in the parentheses. They've each got a 14% chance at the number 1 overall pick. Right behind them, the Atlanta Hawks, the next highest percentage chance at 12.5%. That's really not that far behind. And then the Detroit Pistons at 10.5%. So really all these teams almost equal chances and equal odds at getting the number 1 overall pick for the 2020 NBA draft whenever it does happen. And whenever it does happen, you're going to want to be repping your favorite team. And you can do that with our friends over at Fanatics, chatsports.com/NBA hat. Told you about them earlier in the show, but you get up to 50% off any team hat you want over at Fanatics when you use that link. Go pick yourself up one. Maybe you can be wearing the same one that your favorite draft prospect is wearing during the 2020 NBA draft. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about this lottery because, like I said, the lottery odds are not changing. They're not changing the way they do it. And I like it because last year we saw a huge shakeup in the top 5. The New Orleans Pelicans and the Memphis Grizzlies both had a 6% chance at getting the number 1 pick, and they both jumped up to number 1 and number 2, respectively. The Pelicans, of course, got Zion Williamson. The Memphis Grizzlies got John Morant, 2 future all-stars, in my opinion. The New York Knicks had the best odds at getting the number 1 pick, and they fell down to number 3. Now, they still got RJ Barrett, a good high-quality player for sure, but not Zion Williamson. The Atlanta Hawks, same odds as this year at 10.5%. They fell down 1 spot. Actually, they jumped up 1 spot, to number 4. They were supposed to land at 5. They jumped to number 4. And the poor Cleveland Cavaliers, they had the best odds along with the New York Knicks, and they fell all the way from 1 down to 5. Now, they got a guy in Darius Garland who I like a lot. He's a bit of a project. Again, no Zion Williamson. So this draft lottery is really interesting with the way the NBA does it. When you look at the top 5 prospects in this draft, you're going to want a top 5 pick. You're going to really want one of those top 3 picks because I think that top 3 is stacked with James Wiseman, Anthony Edwards, and LaMelo Ball. I think those are the top 3 prospects, bar none. After that, there's a little bit of an argument for me. Obi Toppin, I like too much to pass up on in the top 5, and same with Denny Avdia, the top really true international prospect. Obviously, LaMelo Ball played overseas, but I wouldn't consider him an international prospect. I'm excited for this draft. People are kind of sleeping on just how good it can be because we didn't get to watch as much college basketball, but trust me, you're going to want to be tuned in during the NBA draft. Now, here's a big question. Which team needs that first pick the most? Let me know down in the comment section below. Maybe it's one of those top 5 teams. Maybe it's the Warriors. Maybe it's the Timberwolves. I think it's the New York Knicks. I think they really do need that number 1 pick because they got to have something to build around. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below.